I'm really happy to see so many people there. And before we begin, I would like to tell you something about our hostess as well. Radhika has always been, she's a doctor by profession, but she's always very keen on having satsang and something for spiritual elevation. So some of you may not know about it, but she's always trying to arrange something or the other. So thanks very much, Radhika. Please give her a hand.
Yep.
So I'm very happy to be here today to tell you a little bit about our ancient scriptures. Vedas. The very word sends ripples down our spines, isn't it? Something mystic, some very mysterious spiritual knowledge is there. So how many of you know a little bit about the Vedas? I know some people who know. 4, right. So that's a beginning. There are 4 of them. So what are those 4? Uttara, correct. So Rig, Yaju, Sam and Uttara. These are the 4 Vedas. Vedas are known to be the oldest books of mankind. Everybody agrees to that. There is no controversy as far as that is concerned. You know, as things get older and older, more and more controversy starts getting attached to things. So this is universally accepted that Vedas are the most ancient books of mankind. They are the spiritual guide for Hindus. And Hindus believe them to be the fountainhead of all knowledge. All knowledge. They are supposed to contain everything from the beginning to the end. Little bit about the origin of the Vedas. There is a lot of controversy on how old the Vedas are. So how far back they go, that figure varies from 2000 years back to even crores of years back. Everybody is trying to estimate in different ways. So the most popular one is of Max Muller, who said that the Vedas, the period of Gautam Buddha is 600 years. And between the period of Gautam Buddha, there are the Vedas, then the Brahmanas, then the Upanishads, and then Gautam Buddha's, whatever scriptures, the 3 Pitakas and all that. So he said if we take an average of 200, 200, 200, between say the Vedas and the Brahmanas and the Upanishads and Buddha, we can add another 600 years back from when Buddha was there. So since Buddha is known to be from 600 BC, it becomes around 1200 BC. And he rounded it off to 1500 BC, which makes it around 3500 years old. So as you can see in this whole derivation, this is all just guesstimate. There is no real way in which to pin down the date of the Vedas. So Tilak used some astronomical references which are given in the Vedas. Some other people looked at the astronomical references and tried to give a date. But generally everybody came to the conclusion, as Weaver said in the History of Sanskrit Literature, that any such attempt of defining the Vedic antiquity is absolutely fruitless. So basically he said that there is no point even trying to date the Vedas because there is no clue by which we can go. However, by conservative estimates, they are taken to be around 5000 years old. But by our tradition, we believe that the Vedas come with the advent of man. When man comes on any planet, then the Vedas come along with that. And they give him knowledge to begin with. So what is the origin of the Vedas? Firstly, the Vedas are believed to be aparusheya. That means that they are not the work of man. They appear in the minds of the first rishis who appeared on this planet, or any planet for that matter, where man comes. And they do not appear, say, like a book, like a novel where the author thinks of some idea and then pens it down, or like a poet who thinks of some idea for a poem and then pens it down. They come as is. So the words, etc., are actually supposed to be not the work of man, but of God. So it is believed that Rigved, believe me, it is written in a number of our texts, that Rigved appeared to sage Agni, Yajurved to sage Vayu, Samaved to sage Aditya, Atharved to sage Angira. So the 4 Vedas came to 4 different rishis, and they in turn, all 4 of them transmitted the knowledge to Brahma. So here Brahma does not mean God, but he is again one of those ancient seers. As you can see, these names are very simple: Agni, Vayu, Aditya. And in later times, slowly, as our tradition has become more muddied by other people's opinions, Agni was taken as Agni Devta, Vayu as Vayu Devta, Aditya as Aditya Devta. That is not really so. It is ancient seers. From my own experience, I have read a little bit of all the 4 Vedas. So from my own experience, I would like to give you some proof for why I think the Vedas are of divine origin, because I know this is a concept which is very difficult to accept, and I did not accept it when I started off in 2001 on this line. So let me tell you the difference between the language. In Sanskrit, we actually have 2 very big divisions. There is a Vedic Sanskrit and there is a Laukic Sanskrit. And actually they are fairly different from each other. If you have studied Laukic Sanskrit, there is no, Laukic means the Sanskrit which normally we all use. So Kalidas has written everything in Laukic Sanskrit, your Valmiki wrote in Laukic Sanskrit. So all the texts which are written by man are written in Laukic Sanskrit. Only where the Vedas have Vedic Sanskrit. Nowhere else is this Sanskrit found. Why is this so? What is the big difference between Vedic and Laukic Sanskrit? Let us take the first word in Rigved, which is seen as the first Ved, though actually Vedas appeared contemporarily. There was no Rigved came first and Atharved came last. However, Rigved still occupies the first position among the Vedas. So the first mantra of Rigved is Agnimide Purohitam, Yajnasya Devam Ritvayam, Potaram Ratnadhatanam. So the first word is Agni. Agni, you all understand, is fire. Right? This is the meaning in Laukic Sanskrit. Now, if you look at Vedic Sanskrit, you will have to look at the root of the word and then consider the prefixes and the suffixes which get attached to that root, and then one meaning is formed. So Agni is formed from Agi, which stands for in the front. Okay, from this only Aage has come in Hindi, if you are familiar, the one who is in front. Since Agni is put the first thing in the sacrificial altar, that is why it is called Agni. Because God appears first in creation, that is why he is called Agni. Because the king is first among his praja, among his followers, he can be called Agni in the Vedas. Because any leader stands in front of his people, he can be called Agni. In fact, today, in Deccan Herald I was reading, they are making this huge Sanskrit encyclopedia, and they had given an interview of the person involved, So he has said that for Agni, only we have 111 meanings. So that is how it is. In the Vedas, every word will have to be looked at in the context of the whole thing. So which of these meanings you will pick up will depend what is the context in which you are looking at it. So the people who read Lokik Sanskrit and then start translating the Vedas, you know, these days there is a big practice, everybody is writing commentaries to the Vedas. Actually, in our tradition, you have to be really adept, have studied a lot of things before you can even think of translating one mantra. Because a single mantra actually can have multiple meanings. 3 meanings are supposed to be there anyway. Okay, you have Adibhautik, Adidevik and Adhyatmik. That means that which relates to the world, that which relates to you yourself, and that which relates to your circumstances. Okay, so these 3 meanings are generally present for all Vedic mantras. And on top of that, you can actually take out as many meanings as you feel like. Not as many meanings as you feel like, but several other meanings. So the person who can actually determine which meaning should be taken out should have studied a lot of things. Please come. Should have prepared. You can see. Should have read several Vedangas and several Brahmanas, Upanishads. He should have actually read the whole literature before he attempts to commentate on the Vedas. But that is unfortunately not so, and the most popular commentary which is available these days was written in the 14th century by a king's minister actually called Sayan. And this Sayan Bhashya is very, very popular. And subsequently, most commentaries are based actually on Sayan Bhashya, because Sayan has given a lot of grammatical references, and so it seems to be a very complete kind of commentary. But unfortunately, it gives even perverse meanings and crude meanings and contradictory meanings to the Vedic verses, which we cannot accept as any intelligent person. You know, you don't write contradictions in one page of your work. Why should God write? Then all the Western philosophers have actually translated based on science commentary. So people like Max Muller, Roth, all these have used science as the base. So it follows all the way into most of the commentaries that are available today. The most authoritative commentary that I would say exists is that of Swami Dayanand. And Sri Aurobindo recognized this, and in his book Dayananda and the Vedas, he says, this Swami Dayanand is the founder of Arya Samaj. He says, whatever may be the final and complete interpretation of the Vedas, Dayanand will be honored as the first discoverer of the right clues. He has found out the keys of the doors that time had closed and rent asunder the seals of the imprisoned fountains. So this also of course shows the greatness of Sri Aurobindo, because only a great person can recognize a great person. The fact that he understood that Swami Dayanand had read all these things before he even attempted. Unfortunately, Swami Dayanand did not complete the commentary for all the Vedas, only Rigved, and that too partially, and Yajurved. Samved and Atharved he was not able to do. Now, religion versus science. You know, I feel very sad sometimes that people place Vedas in the same category as the Bible and the Quran. So we say, yeah, they are the Bible of the Hindus. Sorry, there is no comparison. Typically in both these things you will find injunctions or you will find stories. Vedas are not like that. In Vedas you will find knowledge. This knowledge is not at loggerheads with science. Being aparushe implies that Vedas are proof unto themselves. We call it swatah praman. They don't need to be proven from outside. In fact, things which are written over there prove the outside stuff. So, to the extent that I have read the Vedas, I have not found them to go against modern science in any way. In fact, they promote a questioning attitude, as I will show you just now. And they don't ask you to have blind faith. Generally, they consist of pointers actually. They say, look here, look here. I will show you some examples. So what kind of knowledge is there? All knowledge that is relevant for human beings to start off their life is given in the Vedas. So topics range from the common, like biology, botany, physics, farming, irrigation, to the uncommon, dharma, karma, moksha. Why am I calling it uncommon?
Dharma is everywhere. I mean, there are different types, too many types.
Because it is not available logically. Yeah, logically, you cannot rationalize most of these things. And so you will find generally, other than the Vedas, Vedic traditions, you will find people struggling and groping to find what is life all about. They essentially give humanity a jump start, as I told you, to get going with their work and not, be like animals and continue in life and keep suffering. They are not a manual or a textbook, but they contain information in a seed format. Just to tell you that, yes, this is something important. Start from here. Look here. For example, these are two Vedic mantras from Yajurveda. So here you have, in this first mantra, you have powers of 10. So you have 10 to the power 1, 10 to the power 0, that is Eka. Eka here. Then Dasha, 10, Shatam, 100, Sahasram, 1000, Ayutam, 10,000, Niyutam, 100,000, 1 lakh, and so on, till you reach this Parardha, which is 10 to the power 17. So what this mantra is telling you, use the decimal system. This is the best system for maths. Don't use the hexadecimal system, don't use the binary system. The decimal system is the best for doing advanced maths. Similarly here, in this second mantra, you have Chatasraha, that is 4, Ashto, that is 8, and so on. Dwadasha, Shodasha, 12, 16, and so on till Chatushatvarisha, that is 44. That is 11 times 4. So this is a table of 4. And here all these chars are actually asking you to multiply, divide, develop the whole of maths. Okay, so this again is telling you, see, this is how you can add 4 many times and get powers of 4. And you can subtract and divide and so on. So it's telling go forth and develop mathematics. So it will just stop here. It will not go into calculus and so on. That is for you, left for your imagination, he has given you such a good apparatus up there. You should be using it. But to start off is what you need. If somebody shows you the direction, it is easy to move forward from there. Similarly, in other mantras, the importance of the sun, fire, electricity and wind as sources of energy is mentioned many times and in many ways. The anatomy and physiology of the human body are described in some detail. So in fact, there is a mantra in Atharveda which says that you should discover why the joint of the knee and the joint of the ankle is opposed to each other. The two are opposed to each other. So actually he's left it as a question. Find. Steam engines, submarines, electrical transmission along a metal wire, seeding of clouds. These are some of the other fascinating subjects which are covered in the Vedas. So I will not leave it at this alone. I will show you this verse, which is talking of the electrical transmission along a wire. So here, this Tarutaram is actually talking of the wire along which transmission should be done. And this Shvetam refers to a very clean wire. So it is said that you should develop processes by which the metal is cleaned and then drawn into a wire. To tell you exactly, it says, O king and commander of the army, use the power of electricity along a wire to create light and weapons which are difficult for the enemy to bear. With elaborate processes, obtain pure metallic wire which is connected to devices for creation and amplification of electricity. This takes it over long distances, and electricity itself has many uses. Can you imagine a better description of electricity? And just in one mantra, so many things have been said about electricity. In fact, actually, one thing which I have not mentioned here, it is saying that use wood and metal. So as the insulator, it is suggesting that you should use wood. This Ashvina which is there here, this actually Ashvina stands for Prithvi and Dew. So Dew is electricity and Prithvi is your Dhatu plus wood which are to be used. Okay, now I will move on to what are the main teachings which Vedas tell us, having given you some background of what the knowledge is about. So the first thing it teaches us is what are the entities which make up this universe. So there is the eternal trinity. First is Prakriti or matter. This is inanimate and it comprises, most of the universe is comprised of Prakriti. Next is Jivatma or soul. These are all the individual souls which exist in each of our bodies. So while our bodies are material, these souls are independent and while they are conscious, animate, but they have limited powers. Lastly, there is Paramatma or God, and he is, as you all know, omniscient, omnipresent and omnipotent. He is all powerful, the creator of the universe. So these three entities come together to make this universe, and basically this universe is for the creatures and mostly for man, who has 4 goals defined for him by the Vedas. The first is Dharma. Dharma, as you all understand quite well, is righteousness. To do the right things and not do the wrong things in life. Second is Arth. Generally we spend most of our life running around to earn money. But money for what? Money by itself stands for nothing. So that is for Kama. All our desires, anything, it comprises Kama. And mostly we want Arth for Kama. Lastly, Moksha. Moksha, this is a picture of that elephant who got moksha when he prayed to Vishnu. So, moksha is the time when you actually separate from this material body, this body which gives you a lot of grief, while it also allows you to have a lot of pleasures, but on the whole, sorrow is greater than our pleasures in the ultimate analysis, if you see. So, you can actually get rid of this body and become one with God. That is called moksha. So here the order actually is also important. Dharma should pervade all your artha and even your kama. So all your arthic activities, those which you perform to obtain artha, should never be adharmic activities. Similarly, your kamas, your desires, should be all dharmic and they should not be adharmic. For example, if I can give you are any children here? Yes, we have a child here. Okay. But otherwise, suppose you want to eat an ice cream, it's not a good idea to snatch it from somebody, but to get it yourself. So, robbing or stealing is adharmic. So, to complete your desires through adharmic activity is not good. These three, dharma, artha and kam, the first three, are actually all worldly goals. So, there is nothing wrong with them. In fact, they are told as the four goals of man. But they are all to do with this world. Moksha is to do with the other world, with the world where God exists in isolation. So, to that end, these two go in opposite directions. They are actually, if you are doing any of these activities for dharma, artha and kam, then they are nowhere not leading you towards moksha. You have to do something different to go in this direction. Now you can yourself see that none of these goals actually apply to animals. And this is the whole thing, our scriptures are saying again and again that you have got the birth of a human being. It is attained with great difficulty. And if you don't realize how you should live your life, then your life is a waste. You are no better than an animal. Because an animal, I gave only this much intelligence, he lives his life as he has been told by intuition and by the knowledge I have given. But you should do something better with it. That's why human beings are actually at the pinnacle of creation. The third teaching of the Vedas, again something which all of you are familiar with. We grow up with these concepts. So this is the law of karma, that if you do good deeds, then you acquire punya, which ultimately leads to happiness in your life, some happy consequences. While if you do bad, adharma, then that accumulates as pap, which will reflect in your life as bad occurrences, bad happenings. The next thing which Vedas teach you are that there are 4 stages in the life of man. The average life of man is told by the Vedas is 100 years. Okay, that seems very impossible for us today, but the Vedas actually say it is the average life, and people will live that long. And they've split it approximately into 4 equal parts, 25 each. So the first part of it is brahmacharya, when we educate ourselves. So we go to school and we study and we acquire all kinds of skills and knowledge. And of course, we are celibate during that period. A lot of emphasis is given to celibacy during the period of education, because it is understood that this is an animal desire, and if you give in to it, then you can forget about your studies. So it is very important that to focus on your studies, you are celibate. So brahmacharya today, you understand it only as celibacy, but actually it means to wander inside Brahma. So Brahma is also the name for the Vedas, and so in all knowledge, you've devoted your life to knowledge and its acquisition. The next one is grahast. That is when you get married and you have a family. You also become productive in society. So you have duties and responsibilities related to your family and to society, the nation, the world. That is when you acquire earth and you enjoy it in the form of comforts as karma. You complete your desires. So you have a nice, happy life. Then at the end of 50 years, you hand over the keys of your business or your home to your next generation, and you enter the vana. So that is called vanaprastha stage, from 50 to 75 years of life. At that time, you are supposed to start, now you have moved away, you should start changing your pointer from dharma, artha, kama towards moksha. So this is the period of transition when you now start studying the scriptures and start finding out what you have to do to achieve moksha, to elevate yourself spiritually. You have spent 50 years of your life trying to do the worldly things and live well. It is time to move towards God. In the last 25 years, hopefully in the last 75, by the end of 75 years, you would have acquired some level of enlightenment. And now you can renounce everything and take sannyas. At which time, a sannyasi also has certain duties. They cannot just sit alone and not do anything. Actually, they are supposed to wander from home to home and give this knowledge to the grihastis more than anybody else, because the grihastis are so involved with their worldly duties that they normally don't get time to look at the spiritual matters. So they should actually go to grihastis' house, and they are supposed to be the atithis actually who come to the house, and you are supposed to venerate them and gain spiritual knowledge from them. So that is the main thing of the sannyasis. Now, you should not think that this means that definitely after 25 years, till 25 years I must study, and after 25 you just drop everything and become a grihast. At 50 you drop everything, become vanprasth. No, there is a lot of flexibility here. This is just kind of a guideline given to you. If you want, you can stay in brahmacharya throughout your life. If you don't like the other ones, you can die a grihasti. If you are okay with vanprasth, continue as a vanprasth. Or you may become sannyasi after brahmacharya. You know, like Shankaracharya became sannyasi after brahmacharya. So there is a lot of flexibility available here, and whatever you like to do, you should continue to do. Never force yourself into something just because somebody else tells you that. So the Vedas fully recognize that. In fact, it is looked down upon if you become a sannyasi and then come back and join the world, because you are not able to handle it. Next teaching which the Vedas gave it tells you about the cycle of the universe. So it tells you that there is a kind of a big bang in which matter forms this whole universe. That is called Srishti. Subsequently, there is a period during which Srishti is maintained. And then the whole thing decomposes, dissolves and degenerates, and again it returns to its primordial form. It stays in that primordial matter form for the same period during which creation is there. So this is the cycle which the Vedas tell you exists. Any questions over?
Actually, I had a question on the previous slide.
Sure.
If you can go back to that, the 4 stages, right?
Yeah.
So you said that this was only a guideline and not everybody necessarily goes through all these stages, right?
Right.
But is it not, is it not expected that everybody goes through these stages? Because
this is the advised format for your life. So it tells you this is a good way to go about your life. But final decision is yours, and you take it up when you are ready for it. Because even vanprasth, while vanprasth does not ask you to renounce everything, and in today's time we don't have so much vana that you can go to the vana and consult and talk to other people like you and discuss scriptures. You can take your wife along as well, the spouses can go together. So, don't involve the full renunciation. You can actually sit at home and do it. It's not necessary that you renounce everything. So there are a number of things which you can approach tangentially, if I may say so. And you don't necessarily have to go the whole hog. So the full liberty is there for you.
I had another question actually, and this is kind of a basic question. So the Vedas exist in like a verse form, like mantras or something?
Yes, they consist of mantras.
So what are the relative, what is the size of the Vedas? How many such slokas are there?
There are over 20,000 shlokas.
In each of them?
Mantras actually.
And all of them put together?
All of them put together, yeah. Some of them are long, some of them are short.
I had one other question actually, sorry.
Sorry?
I think, did you mention that the Rig Veda was you said it was a primary Veda, but is that also the first Veda?
It is not first in terms of time. They were all contemporaries, these 4 rishis over there, Agni, Vayu, Aditya and Angira. But among the Vedas, traditionally Rig Veda is seen as the first in terms of importance.
In terms of importance.
Yeah.
The reason I ask is because I've heard that in the South Indian culture, sometimes the Samaveda is recited during religious rituals, etc. And it's recited in kind of a chanting form. And I've also read that the Samaveda is the basis for Indian classical music.
Yes.
For example, Drupad is supposed to have derived directly from Samaveda.
It's supposed to be sung and not really chanted.
Correct.
Yeah.
So I had personally always thought that Samaveda was the first Veda, but my understanding may completely be wrong.
No. By Western belief, from the Western scholars feel that the Sanskrit of Rig Veda is more difficult than the other Vedas. So that is why they put Rig Veda as being older than the other Vedas. But again, this is, half-baked knowledge. That is how I would put it. Yes, somebody had a question.
You are going to give examples of some mantras?
Yes. That's where I am starting. That's why I took a break here. Because now I want to give you examples of mantras. So I picked up some of the nice mantras for you. This one says, Yat Kamaste. This is a portion of a mantra. Okay, these are all parts of mantras. Yat Kamaste, Juhumas Tanno Astu, Vayam Syama Patayo Rainam. So this tells you, may the desires with which we remember you, O God, come true, and may we become the lords of all kinds of wealth. Okay, Rai is wealth. So Rainam Patayah, may we become the patis, the swamis of a lot of wealth. So today, a lot of people believe that the only way to live is the path of renunciation. So if you listen to especially a lot of Vedantis, they will say, you people are so embroiled in this world. What kind of a life are you living? The only way to live is by renunciation. The Vedas themselves are telling you that you must acquire wealth and you must study and you must gain expertise in a whole lot of things, do a lot of business and become prosperous. And is asking God, then may we become like that. Because the Vedas have given that dharma, arth and kam. If you follow dharmic activities, arth and kam, nothing wrong. Absolutely fine. Same thing. But the caveats that it puts are these. Kevalago bhavati kevaladi. The one who eats alone, one who does not share his food and wealth with the learned, or his own family and friends, his or her, please don't take this as only his, the his includes the her. So let me say, the learned or her own family and friends is one who does not share her sin with anyone either. So it's saying Keval Adi, the one who eats alone. Keval Agha, Agha is Papa. So he is like, he is only doing sin, nothing else. And he alone is going to partake of that sin also. So share your wealth. Tena tyaktena bhunjithaha. This means that enjoy the wealth of this world, but don't become obsessed with it. This is all it is saying. You don't need to renounce everything and take your danda and march to the forest. No, not necessarily. But never be so obsessed that you forget dharma and only arth and kam become important for you. These relate to ordinary life. So this one says, Krishanit Thala, Ashitam Kranoti. The plough wielder, while tilling the land, becomes the producer of food. So this Vedic mantra is telling you that agriculture is the way for you to proceed. As some of you may have read, for the civilization to develop, one important step in the advancement of civilization is for man to have settled down and move from the hunter-gatherer lifestyle into an agricultural lifestyle. The Vedas are telling you upfront that the way you can advance in life is by having food available to you at beck and call. Griham moolam agram yacha vimadhyamam yama yoshate kesha nada iva vardhantam shishnaste asitaha pare. This is from Atharveda. Atharveda actually largely deals with this kind of matter. This is, you can say, the beginning of Ayurveda, where it is telling you that application of a particular medicinal herb will strengthen the roots of hair, make them grow at the ends, make the middle strong, manageable actually, and make them black and flexible like the reeds on a riverbank. Can you imagine this is contained in the Vedas? You know, there are a lot of myths about the Vedas where women should not read the Vedas and only the Brahmanas should read the Vedas. That is why the Vedic knowledge has actually fallen into disrepute, is forgotten. This is knowledge for all of us. We can all gain from it. This one is slightly deeper one. It is a mantra which is to be remembered at the time of death. So it says, Vayu Ranila Mamrita Mathedam Bhasmantam Shariram Om Krito Smara Klipe Smara Kritam Smara. Om here of course is the name of God, as you know. So while when we are on our deathbed, we should say, this body will return to ashes and finally to primordial matter. This actually God is kind of telling the soul, oh you Jivatma, who have done your deeds and now you are at the fag end of your life. Remember the Lord, remember me, remember your strengths and that which you have achieved. So it is telling you to look back on your life and see what all you managed to accomplish in your life. Why? Not just to feel bad or feel good, but actually that is what you are going to take forward into your next life. So reflect on what you did and what you could possibly do better in your next life, what you are taking along with you. So essentially it is also telling you that there are two things you take along with you into your next life. One is the deeds which you have done. So the law of karma is going to apply over all births. So it's not as if what you did in this birth only determines what is going to happen to you, but all the previous births determine the consequence. Also, the knowledge which you acquire is taken with you into the next birth. That is why actually so much importance is given in our tradition for knowledge. You can give up everything and just run after knowledge, because that is one thing which is actually part of your soul rather than your body. Everything else is just body. Also you will notice that there is a clear distinction here between God and soul and matter. So there are a lot of different philosophies circulating in India now. You know, as a civilization becomes older and older and older, things get lost. In fact, we are very lucky in India to have things running. As you know, the Greek civilization has, nobody remembers what it is. Egyptian civilization, nobody remembers what it is. Chinese civilization is all but forgotten. We are probably the only ones who still practice our ancient tradition. But it being so ancient, a lot of discrepancies enter as time passes. So people say there are only two things. Some people say there's only one thing. Some people say there are three things. But you can see in this mantra, God is telling you that you are leaving your body while your body is bhasmantam shariram. Bhasma mein ant hone wala, which finally ends in ashes. But you are continuing. So you must remember all this. How will you remember all this if your body is ending in ashes? Right? So we must read actually the Vedas. This is about meditation and for your moksha goal. It says yunjate mana uta yunjate dhiyo. Yunjate means to unite. So I unite my mind and I unite my brain. Vipra viprasya brahato vipaschita vihotra dade vayunavid eka in mahi devasya savituhu parishtuti. Just like the most learned of seers had merged their senses and their minds in the great eulogy of God, which is meditation. So essentially meditation is a time when you think of God and you become one with God. So it's like a eulogy for God. God is very happy when you come and sit with Him. So in deep meditation, so also I, desirous of finding Him, sit alone in meditation. This alone is coming from This alone is coming from here. This says ekak. I alone am sitting now in meditation. When you are uniting with God, nobody else goes with you. Nothing can separate you from Him. So my conclusion, as you can see, the Vedas cover a huge canvas. You might think that Vedas contain only spiritual knowledge and some mystic knowledge, but as we have seen from the examples, they contain from the most basic of human activities to the great, the ultimate goals of human beings, the ultimate truths. Swami Dayanand said that it is important for everyone to read and understand the Vedas, as they are our direct link to God and His method. He further said that those who have understood well, even parts of it, they must take the pains to transmit to others. So I hope with this presentation, you people will also go back and study a little bit of the Vedas, because there is only one path to attain God, and that is through the Vedas. Thank you.
Thank you.